Hey, everybody. Happy Wine Wednesday. I'm here sipping on some Chardonnay and hoping that you guys come and chat with us. I've already got Cheryl, Ray, and Holly with me, my companions that come every week. Love them. And if you didn't catch last week's Ask Seahorse Source, it was very good. I was actually editing and putting on some timestamps, so they'll be there by the end of tonight with some links. And you definitely want to check that out if you're a beginner, because we covered all the beginners' questions with one of the best breeders, and Cheryl and Ray and Holly helped too. Anyhow, today is open chat, so we're just going to chat with each other and with you if you come ask questions. As usual, guys, if you're on Instagram and you want to just listen, feel free. But if you want to see the video part of it, just hop on over to YouTube, search Seahorse Whisperer, and we're up live. So hope you guys had a fantastic week, and hope you're sipping on some wonderful wine with me. All right, let me open the chat up. And then, Cheryl, you said, Seahorse Corner forgot her wine tonight. Boo. Just kidding. Wait, last announcement is that we're going to do 3 parts with Ask Seahorse Source. So the last week was the beginner. The next will be intermediate. And then the final will, so like medications and probiotics and stuff. And then the final will be, I believe, breeding. So stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube so you get notified when we go live. And we will post about when those dates will be scheduled. I think part 2, I believe, is the first Wednesday in February. So but make sure you subscribe. The final thing is we are so close to 3,000 subscribers on YouTube. So make sure you do subscribe, because when we hit 3,000, we'll be giving something away. I still have to post about it, but as long as you're in our subscriber list and you're picked, we're going to automatic. I can't even talk tonight. We're going to do the automatic generator thing. And if you're picked, or maybe even run a contest, but if you're picked, you win. So you got to be a subscriber. Tongue-tied as heck tonight. Sorry. But yeah, so I think that's all I had to ramble on about. Just check out last week's if you're a newcomer, and make sure you're with us for the intermediate, because it's going to be good. All right. So Cheryl, you said you had a story, right?
Well, today I got a message from Heather Heilman. Someone had posted in Seahorse Sources group, and it was a young guy, and he had the picture of the male. Male had a fairly large lump on his pouch that was already totally white and necrotic, and the wound or the injury was extending all the way up, at least halfway up his torso. And other people were trying to help him out because everybody was feeling, bad. And some people said, "Oh, it's pouch emphysema," and there were a lot of theories,
guesses. Yeah.
And when I stepped in, I said, "Well, it looks like possibly a vibrio infection, the round coloration, and the slight inflammation, and the rapid extension of the body." Well, to make a long story short, I gave him the medical treatment and told him what to do. And anyway, his mom came on and she says, "Well, actually, it's my seahorse." And she was really, really upset at first. Well, justifiably so. Yeah. And I explained to her that we were all just trying to help him out and make sure that, it wasn't pouch emphysema. There was a lot of things that it wasn't. And next thing I know, I get a message from him, and he's got all the medical information I'd already put down. He's already getting it on hand, and he's already in the process right now as we speak of putting together a hospital tank for this seahorse.
Nice. Oh, good.
Because it could have turned into a total disaster because his mom was so upset. And she messaged, "This is my son that helps me take care of him." And I'm like, "It's okay. Everybody here was trying to help out and do the right thing. And you need to fixate on that." And when he messaged me, I lit up like a Christmas tree. It was just so wonderful to see.
It's wonderful, especially when you're able to help somebody. That's just amazing. But I'm trying to follow. Why was the mom mad? Just because the seahorses were ill, or because he was getting advice, or
because it's like one guy said it looked like pouch emphysema, and I said no, it's not pouch emphysema.
Oh, the confusion.
Created confusion.
That's one of the things that's probably the only thing that I dislike about, like a Facebook group, is that so many people can pipe up, and say things, and they're just trying to help. But,
Well, the guy that thought it was pouch emphysema, he posted back, he goes, "Thank you for correcting me, Doc."
That's how it should be, polite to each other, and everybody
Yeah, and
learns. I love
it's
it.
about respecting everybody. And
Well,
Read the one
I
where somebody was saying it's ick.
did somebody say it was ick?
Yeah, this is
yeah,
and
that's the one. That's the
this
one.
is what
Somebody posted that it was ick.
so one thing that really gets me. Um, if you're new to a hobby, don't have a lot of experience, don't go posting something as though you know what it is.
Right.
Please, folks, think
Yeah,
about it.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
that's what Dan was
and
saying last week. He started. I don't know if he said it while we were live or in the after party, but he was talking about how he's gotten into metal detecting, and it's like that it sounds like just metal detecting, but it's a serious hobby. There are
Yeah.
forums and there are people
Mhm.
that give advice and tips and stuff. And he said himself, I got on these forums, but I'm listening, I'm learning, not piping
Yeah.
up, because if you specialize in something, I don't know. I just agree with you, Ray.
yeah.
It's hard, and I people often tag me on things, and I'll just say for the record, number one, I haven't been on social media as much as I used to be, and I would like to be. Hectic life, kids, blah blah blah. But also sometimes I don't know the answer. So if I don't know the answer, I'm not going to guess. If I look at something and I know, or if you ask me how many seahorses in a tank or whatever. The other thing I won't do is if somebody tags me on a post where somebody's done something wrong. Tell me if you guys have experienced this. So somebody puts up a post, a tank with seahorses and lionfish or something crazy, and you're like, you can't do that. But I'm not going to jump them. You know what I mean? I would prefer to
Yeah.
privately message or whatever, because I don't like the post where everybody gets jumped either. So
Yeah.
Well, it's important that everybody was trying to help this guy out, and that's when we explained. Somebody else explained to him that seahorses typically don't get ick. Of course, they don't have scales,
right.
and actually, in the end, there was a lot of good input in there and a lot of good learning information, and that's the point of why I'm bringing this up, because not only were the people that had the problem happy by the end, but other people were stepping up and said, we're doing wow, I didn't know that kind of thing. And it's
Mhm.
important that if we don't want to tear people down and tell them they're wrong, we want to teach them
And
how to,
help, yeah.
and that's the whole point of this. And you have to take it, take it, take a pop on the chin and come back and say, hey, I'm here to help.
Yep. And also, that's another good point, is to not take the first answer and run with it. I mean, if you talk to Cheryl or Dan or Ray or somebody, sure, if they gave you advice, you don't even need to ask anywhere else. But if you go, like, if someone reads that post, hopefully they'll read it through. You know what I mean? And not
If
just,
they ask me, they still should ask somebody else. In my
you
opinion.
think?
Mhm.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I'm saying that I don't know it all.
I
So
agree. Go ahead.
if
No,
I
wait, go
if
ahead,
I
Ray.
give an answer, I may not be right, or it may not be right in the particular application.
You're
this is
not
I
you're
go
not
by
wrong.
my own personal experiences, and then I also go by what I read. If I haven't had my own personal experience, I go by stuff that I read, either a scientific literature or something, because Dan has had the experience and he has expressed what should be done in a situation like that, and I trust Dan in that scenario.
You have
But
to
I
learn
well,
who the reliable sources are, is part of it.
yes.
well,
And
that's
once
true.
you learn
Go
the
ahead.
reliable sources, you can have different opinions and from those sources, but they're pretty much right on track. So you might try more than one of those things. Like, try one, and if it doesn't work, try the others, because, we're not
Well,
all experts, and even experts don't always agree.
Well,
So,
and things change. Think about it,
yeah,
like
yeah.
well,
how many things Dan and
Holly.
Cheryl have proven over the years, about
Mhm.
bubbles in the tank and so on and so forth. And I don't disagree with that, Ray, at all. It's just that I think it gets dangerous when you, like, I mean, I have the luck to be able to just text Cheryl or call Dan or whatever. And a lot of people don't have that. So I get that you want a different opinions. And as I said, things change, but it just gets dangerous when you try to do too many things. Cheryl's brought this up before too. Like if you change 30 things about a tank, you don't really know what fixed it. You know what I mean?
You don't
So
know.
it depends on what you're talking
You
about.
don't-
A
But
lot
I
of
get,
the
times
problem.
you can Google within the group, like put gas bubble disease in the search or whatever, and see what people are saying about it and get, a general consensus. Look in the files section where there's information about how to treat different things, and those things are proven. So by doing a little research and not just relying on one post what everybody's saying, you can usually kind of figure out what's wrong and what's right.
Yeah.
yep.
Well,
And
Unfortunately, a
and
lot
with
of people don't know how to find the files.
Yeah.
yeah, well, I did. I
That's
showed
true.
it. I literally screen shared it last week. So go to
Yeah,
that
but the thing
timestamp
is-
once I get it done.
They have short memories.
Holly, it's like when with thing two, and several weeks ago I said what he really needs, if he was a dog or a human or anything else, is to debride the tissue, clean out all that nasty stuff, and then put a bandage on it. But we don't have that option in seahorses. So today, I found out there from you, compliments of I'm not sure who, that there is a product called Debride, and thing two looks 500% better.
Just since this morning. And I have to thank Heather for that, because Heather actually found this product called Debride, and it's recommended actually by Ocean Rider.
Yes.
She found information about it in their question and answers about treating bacterial holes. And she had ordered a tube for her own seahorse at the time to try it. Unfortunately, he didn't make it long enough for her to try it. So she contacted me and said, can I send you some of this for you to try on thing two? And she sent me a copy of the article in Messenger. And I read it, and I was really impressed with what I read. And I said, well, it can't hurt. So yeah, so she sent me, it's an ointment, kind of reminds me of rubber cement. It's super sticky, like mucus, super clingy. And I guess I haven't had time to totally research everything that's in it, but I guess Cheryl did a little bit, enough to figure out the company says it is antibiotic,
Mm-hmm.
but it also treats pain, and it has corticosteroids. How do you say that?
Steroids.
It's a tongue twister. So it treats inflammation.
Yes.
And I gave him his first dose yesterday afternoon when it arrived. And by this morning, you could see progress. He also acted like he was feeling better.
Nice.
So I started today applying it over the top of the Alamax liquid. Like I put a drop of Alamax liquid in the wound, and then I put the Debride on top of that, because it is thick. It stays on him better. So by the difference between this morning and afternoon, you could see the whole closing.
Hey, you guys, real quick. Is it Debride?
Yes.
Okay, I was trying to search for it.
It's developed for koi.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I did not find very many places to buy it. I found a couple. It's about $25 to $30 for, I think, a 12-gram tube. But
Okay.
I'm gonna
Wait, is this it?
couple.
Tell me if this is it real quick, Holly. Hang on. I just wanted to look it up real fast.
It's one of those things where I knew what he needed. I didn't know there was a product. Exactly. I didn't know there was a medical problem. But see, Heather works, she's a nurse. So she used this on humans. And that's how I'm sure she knew about it.
Nice. Well, that's awesome. And it's made that much of a difference, huh?
I can really see the difference.
He
That's
might
awesome.
he might
in
still
less than a day.
be keeping his tail from the looks of things the way it's looking this afternoon.
Yeah, his tail looks really bad, but he's feeling better, and the hole on his body
He doesn't
is
have holes anymore. It's
healing well.
gone.
I'm so glad to hear that.
But there was another product mentioned in the same article called Bandage.
It's not.
Ray
And
has
they
used
don't
that.
make it. They don't make it anymore, I guess. But that sounded really impressive as well. And the
I know that was
Debray,
used. That was used a lot in the UK. I know Tom Hornsby used it a lot. Ray, didn't you use Bio Bandage also?
Yeah, I still have some here.
Yeah.
I haven't
Lucky.
had to
Okay.
use it for a long
Any of
time,
us,
but
yeah. Any of us that have been at this a long time remember using Bandage. And when they discontinued it, we were left with no options basically.
Mhm.
And I'm really liking what I'm seeing in thing 2.
oh,
Oh,
It eats away dead tissue by enzymes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
And I didn't realize that because in the article it talks about using something to debride before you apply the debride. So I didn't realize that it does it also on its own.
Well, what's happening is when you have necrotic tissue, what you're getting is a whole bunch of microscopic parasites that are feeding on this, that are continuing to keep the wound open. I mean, that's their life survival.
hey
Ah,
Cheryl, I wanted to tell Ray. Okay, good. I was going to tell him I muted him. So when he comes back, remind me to tell him to unmute. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. And so what you're doing is you're removing that tissue that parasitic organisms are feeding off of that are continuing to mess with the healing process.
Mm. I missed what you were saying before that. How do you get rid of the tissue that they're feeding on? What was the?
to debride, you remove
Oh.
the dead tissue.
Okay, gotcha.
See, in a mammal like a dog or a horse or anything else, if you had a major injury like thing 2 had, you would go in and surgically remove all the
Clean it.
dead tissue,
Right.
heat it with really hard with high level antibiotics, and then you'd be able to wrap it and bandage it to keep it sterile. You can't do that with a fish tail.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well,
because they're underwater. Yeah. Well, I think this is so cool because even no matter like all the other benefits, it sounds like a Band-Aid, which
Yeah.
is what they kind of need. So
well, I mean, that's what I wanted to do to Thing 2's tail when I first saw it, was go in there with a knife, clean it all out,
yeah.
pack it in antibiotics, and wrap it. But you can't do that with fish.
Now, how does the bride remove the tissue? Is it just
It's-
making sure no more?
It's got enzymes, Heather's
Okay.
saying, called Santil that eats it.
Gotcha.
So it's got an
I
ingredient that's consuming the dead tissue.
And
I put up the
Saying
comment and
yeah.
I put up the comment and I forgot to read it. So thanks, Holly.
And I didn't notice you put the comment. I was reading it over on the side because I can see what people are saying, but I can't respond to it.
Gotcha.
We don't know how to do that.
well,
Yeah,
I
I think
thought that
only
was
I
a
can.
pretty cool find, to say the least there.
Bravo, Heather. Thank you so much. And see, as people, as she gets really experienced at seahorse keeping and breeding, and she shares what she knows with the hobby, man, it's just an endless learning cycle where we all help each other.
This is what a lot of people I don't think understand is Holly used it, Heather knew about it, and we all want
Yeah.
it, so to speak. And that's what makes it nice. It
Yeah.
dissolves dead tissue, but not living tissue. Exactly.
Well, yeah, and no, what you were saying, Cheryl, is true about everything. I won't mention names, but because I couldn't get Diamox near me, a very nice friend seahorse keeper sent me some just for a case of emergency, and people just share and help each other, and it's just a good community. We're very lucky.
Exactly. This whole thing today has been a classic example of that for me.
Yes, absolutely. So Holly, what else is going on with you? You debrided thing 2, and he's better, getting better.
Yeah, I'm giving him his ointment. So there's that going on. He'll be in the hospital for a long, long time, I think, but but he is getting better little by little. And today was water change and tank cleaning day. I'm changing around the display tank a little bit. I keep pulling out rock like one by one. So I pulled out another piece today and I kind of rearranged things in there. And they've gotten used to the shower curtain rings now.
Okay.
So Candy
She's got a trapeze
really
artist.
loves them. Yeah.
Which
So
one is
Candy loves her Candy. So yeah, she loves her circus rings, I call them. And the other female, Sadie, she figured them out too. So though both the females figured them out first. And then today I saw even Scrappy Doo was hanging out on the shower curtain rings for a while. So
What's funny
he's
Awesome.
now
is they'll
figured
get a
them out.
hold of them and they'll start swinging back and forth and going moving in and out of
Mhm.
the rings. And I mean, it's priceless to watch. It
Mhm.
really is.
Yeah, so those guys, those are the older seahorses in my display tank. Now in the grow out tank, nobody's figured them out yet.
Wow,
Well,
really?
They have a lot of other stuff, I think. They're not they don't swim very high up in the tank where the shower curtain rings are. They tend to stay lower, close to the decorations that are lower on the tank. So I
yeah.
think that's part of it.
But wait until the first one really figures it out and starts having fun. And the whole
Mhm.
darn lot of them are all going to try to cram themselves and hit you exactly the same spot.
I
Yeah.
was going to say, I walked up to my tank earlier, and I know these frisky seahorses are constantly trying to make babies, but still have not. But anyways,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
they're spending more time twirling to the top and such. And I turned on the light and I was like, wait a minute, where are they? And I saw Aphrodite, and I'm like, where
Mhm.
are the other two that are constantly, courting?
Mhm.
They were both wrapped around the lock line at the very top where it
Oh,
comes out. I never see them that high usually, but they were
Uh-huh.
up there chilling and looking at me like, "What's up? Where's breakfast?" But
I have
well,
a bunch of them up there right now. I have a few that love it, that hang out up there, and I have rings close to there. I put the shower curtain rings close, so hoping they'd get close enough to figure it out. But so far, other than the shower curtain rings being in their way, and they're
right.
trying to duck and avoid them, they haven't really figured out how to play on them yet.
Mhm.
well, they're probably not quite heavy enough to really make them move yet, like the bigger seahorses
Exactly. They are smaller. So the
Yeah.
size of the seahorses in the display tank, they're as big as 2 shower curtain rings. And these little ones are probably not much bigger than one. Like if I stretch them out, they're probably the length of 2 shower curtain rings. So they are smaller.
Yep. Mine love them, but they don't have a lot of other options. Like you have a lot of other stuff in your tank, and mine is like
Yeah,
rock
I
hard.
pulled out some of the little plants because I'd added a bunch of, after Christmas, I got them a bunch of little silk plants and things. And they
Nice.
like them, and they're kind of fun to watch because what happens, because I don't have sand, it's bare bottom, and I don't have them fastened with suction cups. So they end up dragging the little plants around. And there'll be sometimes a couple seahorses on one plant, and it's going around and around like a merry-go-round as they're trying to go different directions. But what I found is that the more you have sitting on the bottom, the harder it is to clean all around it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I pulled a bunch out and just left them, a few little things
Well,
to hang
one
on
thing you
to.
can do with some of
Things.
those silk plants, because I've
Mhm.
done it, is attach suction cups to them
Mhm.
using a zip tie and put them on the
Yes.
sides around the tank. Then you don't have to
Ah,
worry about them getting in the
yeah.
way.
Then they're on the side instead of the bottom, and yeah, they're not in the way. That's a good idea.
Yeah, you can even turn them so that they're actually sit upright if you want to, or you can have them sticking
Mhm.
straight out.
Mhm.
I've done that in grow out tanks before.
Mhm.
It's pretty
Nice.
Yeah,
cool.
that would be perfect. then maybe they'll learn to start going higher up in the tank too and find the
Yeah.
shower curtain.
Yeah.
Say,
Yep.
hey, my favorite plant is up there now.
Maybe I should journey up there.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, I'm adjusting, but I'm still here. But yeah, my tank is having it's ticking me off, the all-in-one, not the 65, but the
Mhm.
all-in-one is ticking me off because now I'm having this problem that everybody else is coming and complained about. But I'm getting algae, right? Because I don't
Mhm.
have a very good light. But this algae is so weird. It's like, instead of being the like mossy, filmy, slimy, grassy stuff that grows all over the rocks usually, that everybody gets,
Mhm.
instead of that, it's like these, I don't even know how to describe it, like 2 or 3 come out of a spot in the rock, and then it's this long string. I should turn my thing back on to show you guys what I'm doing. I'm sitting here talking to myself over here, but it's like the rocks here, and it's not the little slimy stuff or even the hairy stuff. It's like there'll be 3 or something come out of one hole, and it'll be a long string that's now getting caught up in the curtain rolls and stuff. Not rolls, but you know what I'm talking about. It gets caught in it, and it's a pain, and I'm so worried that like it's gonna clothesline a seahorse or something. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it'll grow from the rock, get caught in the rings, and then as they're swimming past, they're gonna run right into it, is my fear. And I pick it out every time I see it, and it's not like overwhelming the tank because it's only in little spots. It's so weird.
Huh.
Post some pics of it when you get a chance.
Okay, I will.
Yeah, because it'd be interesting to get an idea on it. It almost sounds like some of the stuff I've seen with bryopsis pull, but it sounds like it's too long for bryopsis.
Yeah, it grows. It grows the length. I mean, like it gets to the top of the tank. Put it that way.
Wow.
But it's not everywhere. It's so weird.
And you're sure it's not your hair?
I'm sure. I
I've
thought of
had
that.
that
I did think of that.
I
I've
found
done
my
that
own.
before.
I found Fry hitched to my hair in the tank.
Oh my
I saw
gosh.
that. I've had that happen too. How did you get my hair in that tank, and why do you like it?
Right.
It was
Well,
a
and that's
perfect size for a tiny Fry to hitch to.
and that's kind of frightening too, because the chemicals and stuff we put in our hair, shampoo, and if you use any product, is that like, why doesn't it? Is it? What do you guys think? No biggie.
I don't. Well, I think they're hardier than we think in some ways, but I don't use a lot of product in my hair, so it's probably, unless I just washed it and I've got conditioner or something on it, it's probably not an issue.
Right. Well, I just
But I
think
think
about
a lot
Go
of
ahead.
stuff comes in the some stuff I think it doesn't cause problems right away, just like the environment gets polluted with chemicals. But you hear something causes cancer, but it's causing cancer 20 years down the road. So
Right.
I'm sure stuff falls in their tank all the time from around the house, when we're cooking or cleaning, or I mean all that stuff. They're not as sensitive as birds, I don't think, to stuff like that.
All I can say is I flip shit when Sean starts cleaning, because I can clean, because the all-in-ones in the back room and the 65s in our front room. So when he starts getting out sprays and stuff, I'm like, that better not be aerosol.
Yeah, I don't use any sprays anywhere near the tanks, but I think like I said, like residual stuff from
Yeah.
cooking and all kinds of stuff is probably getting in there, but we probably don't see results of that immediately. I mean, it could be causing them problems 10, 20 years down the road,
Right.
but a lot of them won't live that long anyway.
Actually,
So
I worry about that every time I cook fillets, because it smokes so much and the air
yeah.
feels
Mhm.
greasy afterwards. So I turn on fans
Mhm.
and stuff. But Cheryl, do you think that's what do you think does it matter? Like if you're cooking on the stove and it's very smoky in the air, and whatever, that's landing in the tank, right? And we know dust
If
and all
it
that
gets
crap.
thick enough, it could cause you problems. Yes.
Huh.
Mhm.
What would happen?
That's true of anything in in a seahorse tank. Anything that goes in mass. It's like when I'm not just cleaning tanks, but when I'm cleaning floors and stuff in the area where all my tanks are. I do little bitty spots, wipe them down, completely dry them to ensure that I'm not putting this aerosolizing
Hmm.
the cleaner. And
Makes sense.
I go through a lot of vinegar and a lot of hydrogen peroxide.
Yeah. More safer stuff for them.
Yep.
But yeah, I imagine, all the stuff, like I said, that you use in your house that's floating around is gonna, end up in their tank. But as to whether you see the results of that right away or not, it's carcinogens and all kinds of things that, we hear that all the time. Oh, this causes cancer, blah blah blah. Well, it's not necessarily going to cause cancer tomorrow. It's 10 years late. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yes. And hey, Chimp,
So,
nice to see you. Thanks for coming. What I hate, and this isn't actually about seahorses, but I hate that they keep changing their darn minds. Sean came home the other day and tried to tell me that now kale is bad for you. I'm like, I'm not buying it. No way. I like kale. And
mhm.
I'm trying to eat all healthy, and he kind of, eggs are good, eggs are bad, red meat's good, red meat's bad. Oh, this, oh, that. Oh,
You drive
over it.
yourself crazy following all that.
I know, right? They can't make up their minds. And that's what we were saying earlier, bringing it back to seahorses. Things do change, but at least in the seahorse world, we progress and, stick to the path instead of backtracking and saying, hey, I got one. I'm rambling tonight because it's open chat, guys, but I'm curious, and Chimp, you might be able to help with this, or anybody. But what do you guys have the same problem as me? In my bedroom, which is where the reef was, the whole wall behind it is completely ruined because of salt creep. I don't
Moisture.
know. The paint's bubbled up. There's like cracks and holes everywhere. I'm like, oh shit. What did I put it too close to the wall or what? Or does that happen to everybody?
I
It
haven't
doesn't.
seen it yet, but my husband says I'm going to ruin the house.
Okay. Well,
It's
Well,
what
what some
happens.
people do is literally put up like a pond liner on the wall,
mm, that's
and that
interesting.
uh, I typically keep my tanks a good distance away from the wall just for that reason. And I've got two spots in that room where I got tanks a little too close, and you can definitely see the damage.
Well,
But
Yeah,
sorry.
but it's
mine
one of
are
those things
not
too.
next to the wall, but floors around them, I have to keep towels because you're always dripping water after you siphon or what. So I have towels all around on the floor, and I'm not real close to any wall, but I imagine if I was, that'd be
Yeah,
happening.
the thing is, what I do is like when I know I'm going to be dripping, I've got a huge box of towels of
Mm.
3x5
Same here.
towels, and I go and wipe it up as soon as it's done to preserve the fluorine and everything else, and it definitely helps.
Well, that's the funny thing too. Is like in the seahorse tank, man, there's always streaks from where I've sucked out food and dripped on the glass or whatever.
Yep.
But I never did that in the reef. Like, and I'm talking about behind the reef, which I understand. There's hoses and stuff, but the water wasn't in direct contact ever. And we all know salt creep and that. I know all of that. And I think we don't have as many problems in seahorse tanks because we are messing with it so much. I really do. But the wall is destroyed. Isn't there paint too that you can get
Yes,
that?
there's
Yes.
Okay.
waterproof paint.
Mhm.
I think that's what Heather used on her she shed.
Sea shed? Yes. We need to get her
Because
back in here.
she
Anyway.
just described it. And yes, it does. One of the things that happened when I had that room addition put on my house is they knew it was going to be full of saltwater tanks. And so I think that's part of what's really limited the damage is they went in and put in the right stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Very smart. I wish I would have
Well,
thought of it because that wall's ruined.
Aquarium mats are good. I'll tell you what I use. I buy yoga mats
Yes.
at Goodwill
Yeah.
and use those under my sump and stuff. I just buy used ones and
I
kind of
actually put in pond liners inside each
Inside each what?
where your sumps are or whatever.
no inside each stand.
Okay.
Okay, and I raise them up on the sides so any water
Mhm.
that gets inside the stand
Mhm.
is caught by the pond liners. The
Nice.
water.
Good idea. I like that.
And it works really well because it really reduces the amount. If you spill a little bit, it's not a big deal because it's going to evaporate because it's sitting on a pond liner.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing with pond liners is you can cut them into any shape or any size
Yes.
you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was trying to get on my phone in here to show you guys.
Also I buy those plastic placemats at the dollar store.
Mhm.
And when
I
I
can't
set
hear.
up the hospital tanks and the fry tanks and such, I just throw down those mats on top of whatever surface I'm putting them on. So it's quick and easy. They're easy to clean. When I take down a hospital tank or a fry tank, I just pick them up, clean them, and they're good to go for next time.
Ray, can you hear us now? I don't think Ray can hear us.
I
Uh-oh.
don't think so.
Okay, let me tell him real quick. Sorry, guys. We can hear you, but you don't hear us. Maybe, sorry, guys. Maybe jump
Come back
out
in.
and
Yeah, I
back
can't hear.
in. Well, let's see if he gets
Oh,
that
it
and
just
does it.
started now. Okay, now I can hear you.
Okay. Okay, good. We were talking about the wall behind my reef tank is absolutely destroyed. And Chimp the reefer said his wall's fine, but the floor is bad with saltwater drops. It's just and even with the paint, doesn't the salt matter? Like I never had
I
trouble
like
with
to hang
freshwater
plastic
tanks.
over it.
Yeah,
If you hang plastic behind the tank,
Yeah.
exactly. That's why I use the how I use the pond liners to protect the walls and stuff.
Well, in the 65-gallon tank that I'm looking at right now, I made bad choices in life, you guys. It's in front of a window, okay? It's at an angle, like the wall and the window, and then the front big windows. Anyways, the curtain that I have hung on this very long window is just destroyed. And yeah, I mean, like, what do you guys do about? I'm sorry, it's open chat, guys. If you have a question, ask it. Otherwise, we're just gonna chat. But what do you guys do about salt creep in general? Because I always get extremely nervous about like my timer / plug-in thingy. Like I'm
I
so
don't
worried. On the
have that
65,
much.
it's underneath the tank.
Mhm.
It's in between the tank and the shelf beneath it, and then the sump is on the floor because it was a stand that just didn't fit the sump. And I have it curved around and looped and
Mhm.
way back, but the splashes and the salt gets on the stand. The stand looks like terrible, and I'm
I
like, if
watch
it
it
hits
and
that
try to
electrical,
wipe it. Us wipe it down a lot. Try
Yeah.
to watch it
Well,
and wipe it. Where I see it, I don't have a whole lot of it.
yeah.
Honestly, right now. I had more when I used to use hang on back stuff.
mm.
Yeah.
Well,
And, and I
the
don't
65
have as much now.
The 65 does have an overflow box because it was not a drilled tank. So
Mhm.
that might be part of it. You might be right. But I just wonder anybody who watches this, put it in the comments or whatever, because I'm very worried. I think I'm definitely destroying the house.
Anybody needs some new tanks and HOV filters? I have several of them that I'm getting rid of because everything is going to be drilled. I have the tanks, they're drilled. I've just got to finish rearranging.
Mhm.
And I'm very serious. It makes a huge difference.
Come to think of it, the reef had an overflow box. So that might be why my wall is now ruined because I was
I mean,
letting those splatters happen.
Everything drains out of the bottom, goes into the sump, comes back out of the top, and drains back down into the bottom. So I don't have the splash over with hang on back filters or hang on back boxes. That's why I'm getting rid of all of them. It's like, no more, not doing this.
Okay, so now you guys got to tell me, how in the world do I fix the wall? do you like have to
You
scrape the whole
call my
wall and paint it?
husband. You
Sand it
get
down,
the
and if
call
it's
my
got
husband
any,
and do
any
new
of the
drywall.
drywall paper comes off, you have to put some paint on before you do anything else, because if you mud it on top of drywall that has the paper stripped off, then it won't adhere.
Yeah.
So you said sand
In
it
other words,
down.
When the drywall is basically, it's a gypsum or something, and it's got a paper cover on it. Now,
Okay.
you can do repairs to all that as long as the paper is still there. But if any of that paper comes off, spray it with some paint primer first before you mud it. You can put mud
Okay.
on top and then finish it off afterwards, but don't just try to mud on top of the gypsum that's there.
Now, see,
So in other words, I gotta hire somebody. Seahorse
No.
Corner said just ignore
Call
it.
Scott. Scott could replace a wall so quick. He just cut out the damaged part and
Exactly.
put a new piece of drywall, and it's a lot less work.
well, it's
But
like
wait. Go ahead, Cheryl.
If there's a hole in the house, I've
My
watched
house
him
is
do it.
older.
He's so fast.
and so I mean, it's like the bathrooms and everything else. None of it was done with the cement fiberboard and that kind of stuff. Well, go in with cement fiberboard, put it in there, treat it so it's waterproof. Then you can put up. The worst case scenario that happens is the sheetrock gets damaged. Sheetrock is easy to replace.
Cheryl, stop talking. You know how to do everything. I can't stand you. I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, anybody near Indiana that knows how to do this, because Ray already said sanding, which I don't know how to do, mudding, which I don't know how to do, paper,
All you need is a
walls,
carpenter.
I had someone.
Handyman carpenter.
I
Yeah,
had
you
someone
put
come in my
wallpaper
house
over it.
one time. Yeah, I had someone come in my house one time, and it was a friend. And I'd finally finished doing all the new tiling in my bathroom. And he comes walking out of the bathroom and goes, "Who's your tile guy?" I said, his name is Cheryl.
Right. But Ray, I've got to tell you, I'm going to take a picture as soon as we're done, and I'm going to post it, and I'm going to tag you on it in the group, because no, there's no way you could put wallpaper. It has like the wall, seriously, like one layer, maybe just the paint, but I think it's more than the paint. It's like a layer of the wall literally cracked, and it's split open, and there's bubbles, and it's terrible.
Just cut it out
Just
and put it
up
in
new
your
drywall.
finish it off.
Well, when I post, you guys help me out, because I need to know, like, I'm obviously going to have to hire somebody, but I just
Google
need to
is
No,
know.
your friend.
It's easy. It's easy. Trust me.
Well, then you can walk me
You
through
go
it,
on
Cheryl. What'd you
Google.
say, Ray?
You get all sorts of videos on Google that will show you just how to do it.
Yeah.
Yes, but we're talking about me, okay? We're talking about
I
me.
used to help Scott do it. We used to have our own construction business, and I used to help him with that kind of thing, and it's not hard. I could
It's
do
not. It's easy.
it.
I got a
Well,
damaged
wait till I post the
Yeah,
picture. You know what? You guys think of a topic to chat about. I'm about to take a picture and bring it up on the screen. So I'll be right
And
back.
for your window, you just need to put up shower curtains instead of regular curtains.
Oh, that's
in
a
your
really good
window.
idea. That's such a good idea.
Shower
All right. Don't let there be any dead air. Talk about whatever you want. I'll be back in 1 minute.
Oh, that's funny.
I got to go feed the seahorses. I'll be back in a sec.
There we go.
Oh, I'm just so glad that the thing too looks. I mean, he just looks so much better.
I couldn't believe the difference from this morning and this afternoon.
Neither could I.
The
Neither
hole is closing like since
holes-
this morning.
He had two holes. The one on the tail that was even getting it down to the bone, And then the
Well, the
other one
tail is a
is,
lot of it missing.
yeah.
And the tail, it's hard. It's really hard for me to see because the way it is, it's like eaten almost like half to 3/4 way around.
I
So
know.
how bad it looks depends on the angle you see it from.
Mhm.
Like if you're behind him, the skin is normal, so you can't really
It's
tell.
normal, yeah.
And when I'm holding him, the way that he positions his tail doesn't make it easy for me to treat that part because
Yeah.
it's round, just his shape.
Yeah.
So, this ointment, though, like I said, the consistency of it, it's like rubber cement, like mucus. It's really
Well, what
thick.
it's doing is
And
it's
so I use
gluing.
my finger and smooth
Yeah.
it like I'm smoothing something on.
It's basically it's gluing to the flesh, and then the
Mhm.
enzymes that are in it are basically consuming all the
Mhm.
necrotic tissue. So all it's
Mhm.
leaving everything with is
Mhm.
live, unaffected tissue,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
that's what you want. I just
Mhm.
didn't know, and thank you, Heather. I did not know
Yeah,
that there
for
was.
finding that.
Yeah, I did not know that there was a product to be able to debride like that.
Yes, thank you,
And
Heather.
it was
Heather.
on, I printed out the article, but it's on
Well,
the
I found
Ocean
it.
Riders
As
site.
soon as I saw that, as soon as I saw that, Holly,
And it's a
I
question in
immediately
the
pulled it
forum.
up. Yeah, I
Yeah,
immediately pulled it up because I'm
but
thinking,
it mentions a lot of different drugs in here, actually. There's a
Well,
lot
maybe.
of suggestions.
Okay, well, let's get the link. Where you said it's on Ocean Rider
And
website.
it's your old friend Peter that answered the question.
yeah,
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 so
that's coming from Peter Giovanni.
mhm.
Well, he's changed his mind about a lot of things. Much respect to him. No problems there. I felt like when I first, well, we aren't even going to go through the story. I had troubles when he told me I would never be able to raise fry, that I should not
Mhm.
even try it in a hobbyist setting. So that was my only beef with him. Everything's great now. I think he's great. His articles are great. And he listened to Dan about a bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
So I have Ocean Rider seahorses in my tank. So
Mhm.
no
well,
problems there. He is my friend
Kelly,
now.
And this is an
Kelly,
old article. This is 2 years ago, actually,
Okay,
that
well,
this
that's
was
why I want to
posted.
see it. Where is it?
You'd
it
have
would be
to
on.
probably go into their forum, and it's
It
called
should be in
Bacterial.
seahorse.com.
Okay, hang on, guys.
So
Don't talk all at once. Hang on. Here, I'm going to
there's
go there right now, and you guys are going to walk me through it. Okay, where do I go?
You're lost.
How am I lost?
Uh,
uh maybe just go up to the search and put bacterial hole is the name of the
Okay,
article, and maybe that'll locate it. Because the
well,
way I got it was Heather sent me the link.
gotcha. Okay,
There we
results.
go. It
Okay.
is in the forum. So
this one, first one,
it
October.
is 1 year, 9 months ago. Oh, here we go. April 7th, 2020 is the
Yeah.
date
Okay,
on
these are all
here.
from 2003, 2002. Let's try this. Hang on. Ocean Rider.
The
Sorry, I got these stupid
It
nails
goes
on.
through Ocean Riders, Seahorse Farm and Tours, Kona, Hawaii forums, Seahorse Life and Care, Bacterial Hole.
The thing
Let's
is,
see if
they have
this is
so
it.
many
No, develop.
articles. It's really hard sometimes to find.
This can't
And
be
I
it.
think
Hey,
that's why I'd never seen it. Because sometimes I'll Google stuff and I'll find stuff, but this had never come up for me. So I
Holly,
was
send it to me.
glad Heather found it.
Send me the link on Messenger real quick.
Okay.
Can you? And while she does that, I'm going to show you guys really fast my hole. Okay, that sounded really bad. I'm going to show
That's
you the
just
hole in my
paint, by the way.
wall.
It's only the paint coming off.
What?
That is the drywall paper that you see in the back of it.
Okay, so just don't mess with that paper. Is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, you can take that, you can sand down on that paper, and you'll be able to spread a film over it just so you don't have any edges, and sand it down.
Okay, but can you see, Ray, in where it's not damaged? It's the wallpaper is this weird, like they tried to do a kind of design sponge or
The
something.
white area in the center,
What was it?
the white area around there in the center.
No. So if you're looking at, can you see my arrow or no?
Uh,
Okay, well, you can see the plain white that's
Oh, just
behind
like your-
the peeling. You can see the plain white that's the paper that you said. Then there's the peeled paint. Then if you look at the very top of the picture where nothing's wrong, what I'm saying is it's this like sponge paint design. It's not flat. It's not, it's got like little grooves everywhere. So my question is, can I cut out just a portion or do I have to redo the whole wall?
I wouldn't even cut it out. I'd just sand it all down so you get it as smooth as possible, and make sure you get all the loose particles off of the paint and that. And once you get that done, if there's no damage to the drywall paper itself, then you can just put your mud over it and trowel it down, and then when it dries, sand it flush so you don't have any of those edges from the paint, and then prime it and then paint it afterwards.
Gotcha.
Hey, just
Okay.
do what I do. I took down one wall in my house because I wanted a bigger refrigerator.
Yes.
I put in a new wall 3 inches over to fit my new refrigerator. Think about that one. I wanted to
Okay, I sent you that link, Kelly. It should be there.
I got it. Yeah, she got it. Wait, did I hit the wrong one again? I did. Hang on. I
Okay.
did the wrong one again. Let me do it again. Try it one more time here. Sorry guys.
What's
But
the
thank
shadow
you,
from?
Heather. What, Ray?
What's the shadow from? Looks like
The shadow? On
Yeah.
what?
On the bottom part of like just at the bottom part of the wound.
Oh, that's the tank. You're still
Oh.
looking at my pictures? That's the
Okay.
tank. It's a shadow. The tank's still there. It's just not running. But okay. So wait. Sorry, we're jumping. Ray, did you want to say something else?
Nope. No,
Okay.
that's a fairly
I'll-
simple
I'll-
fix.
Peter.
I'll hit you up on the side for some more help. But so this is it.
Where
Okay.
you
Yeah,
have the
that's-
cursor there in the center, that's drywall paper. The
Yes,
rest of it is
I
paint
got you.
that is lifted off because of the salt.
And wait, before we move into the bacteria hole, Ray. So what you're saying is I can just sand down the messed up paint.
Yeah.
That's
Well, first of
peeling.
all, scrape away
Okay, hang on.
without scraping the drywall paper. Scrape away the loose paint that's on there the best you can, and then whatever you can't get off, do some sanding and some scraping until you get anything that's loose off. Once all that loose stuff comes off, then you can put some mud over it and trowel it down thin. And once it's dry, you sand it
Yeah.
so that you don't see any edges from the old paint mark. And then prime it and paint it.
Hey, Holly.
Okay.
Holly.
You might have to paint a whole section.
But
Depending
I don't have to replace the whole wall or anything.
No.
Okay.
Holly Milner,
Mm-hmm.
can you send me that link?
Hang on,
Yes.
I'll share it. I will also share it in the comment section for anybody who comes later.
Yeah.
But here we're gonna go through it real quick.
Yeah, message
So-
me that link.
So this person had
Yes,
a problem. And you guys can go look at the link yourself, but I wanted to know about all the medications he
Yeah,
suggested.
well, the thing is, we've tried iodine, we've tried all kinds of stuff. Bandage was discontinued, and it became a disaster. And I did not know about Debride.
Yeah, she just sent me a link for DeBride too. I'll put these all in the comments. Go ahead, Cheryl.
Yeah, I just message me this link.
I will do
I'll
that
message you
right
all of them.
now.
But so basically, this is what I worry about too, just in any situation, is using too much. So Bandage, neomycin, and what does impregnated with neomycin mean? Can somebody help me with that? Does Bandage have it in it? Is that what it's saying?
Yeah.
It has
Okay.
neomycin in it. The antibiotic is in the Bandage.
Yeah, right.
Is what
Got it.
The problem
And-
we ran into is we used to use, I mean, I'm going back over 15 years ago. Our go-to treatments were, if I recall correctly, were a combination of neomycin and doxycycline. And we found that what it was doing was actually causing renal failure in seahorses. It
Right.
would start to improve, and all of a sudden, next thing we know, they were crashing.
Well, that's why I say sometimes all these medications, it's just a lot. And carefully snip away the eroded tissue and apply the gel. Can you snip the
Well,
fins?
when you're reading the directions, if you read this carefully, he's quoting from the product, but they're talking about treating fish, not seahorses.
Mm.
So as you read it, he talks about how to apply it for seahorses, but a lot of it is how they use it for fish.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I don't like about these really long things is that it's a lot of copy and paste and it's a lot of medicine. But I still think it's a good article, and I'm going to go through it tooth and comb. I'm going to stop sharing because we can't all read it together, obviously. But I
Just
will
put
put
the
these
link in
links.
that general one that we message on.
I am
way
right now,
everybody-
sir. I'm going to do it right now, and I'm going to put it in the chat, and then I will also put it in the comment section when we're done. Sorry, trying to do two things at once.
Holly,
I'm never good at this.
I'm going to ask you to put together a brief article
Oh shit.
with your different pictures of what his tail looked like and the transitions with the different treatments. And I'm sure Dan would agree, it would be invaluable to be saved there in the files section on seahorse.org.
Agree.
It would
I
be
can do that.
invaluable.
I can definitely do that.
I know you're busy, but if you could find the time to do it, that would be fantastic. Because I think this is really important.
And Heather actually sent me a link to the DeBride medication also,
Yeah.
which I'm putting here, and then we'll put in the comments too. So the first link.
The difference in his
Yeah,
tail
see.
is like night and day.
I'm sorry, you guys. When I try to copy from Facebook Messenger, it messes up. So here is just check the comment section. It'll be better.
On my phone, the way I do it on my phone is I go to the actual link, the page,
Yes,
and then
I got it.
your
I did.
finger down on it and hit the upload button, and then I can pick Messenger and your name to send it to. Is how my iPhone does
Well,
it.
no. All I was trying to say is if you're in the stream right now and you're looking at the comments, basically you'll see 4 links. The first one I copied from my Messenger, so I don't know if that'll work. Then I went to the actual page and copied the link
And did it
for the
through
bacterial hole.
computer.
Then I did the same thing again with the DeBride stuff, but then this next, and the links will be correct in the comment section. Sorry. That's all. But I get it. Thank you, Holly. And thank you, Heather.
Yeah.
All right. So I interrupted you guys. Were you finished talking about the bacterial hole thing? Like, we've provided a good link, but obviously the DeBride's working, and the Allison or Alamax. Which one did you say you were using?
Alamax. It's Allison any way you use it. The difference is Alamax is a liquid, Alloderm is a gel.
Got it.
And so it's the Alamax comes in a bottle. It's like eye drops. So it's a dropper. And I like it because I can control better how much comes out. Like I just give them a little drop. And before I started using the this new gel, I would blow on it and try to get it, a little dry, and then put the alloderm over the top of it to hopefully seal it in. But the alloderm is not as clingy as the debride.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure because I don't have an actual tube of the debride ointment. Heather sent it to me in a little Tupperware, and the lid is coming off so some air got in, parts of it
Mm.
dried a little bit, and I don't know what the texture of it is coming out of the ointment tube, but it's in my Tupperware. It's about the consistency of, like I said, almost like rubber cement or mucus.
So
And
Heather, if you're still
so
with
I'm
us,
interested to know how it comes out of the tube. Is it like Neosporin or something like that, or is it thicker?
yes, Heather, please let us know in the comments. You're
Yeah.
so helpful. Thank
One
you.
thing you can do
We need Heather to come back to this dang show. But go ahead.
Yes, we
it doesn't
do.
take very much. And you could actually use something like a toothpick to actually pull the medication out, so you don't have to open it up and squeeze it and then suck air back in.
In the tube, a thick
Yeah.
paste. Okay, yeah. So it is that. So it is pretty thick, even sounds like,
Yeah.
coming out of the
I
tube.
would
It's
use
thicker, a lot thicker than the alloderm.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. Then Heather, we need you to get on camera with us and squeeze the tube and show us the exact. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But we do welcome you
Seriously
back
though,
anytime.
that just might solve the problem. Is using something small that would fit into the container that you could just pull out a small,
Well,
tiny
what you need.
amount.
Mhm.
And again, you could literally take the toothpick, wipe it on your finger, and apply it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious too. Why did they stop making bio bandage? Because that worked the same way.
Well, why did they stop making Furan 2? Why can't we find triple sulfa anymore?
Yeah, but wait a minute.
Because
I can
of the
find triple
abuse.
sulfa. It was right. It was abused. Agree, Ray. And like with the antibiotics, I get it. Oh, that's right. Bio bandage had antibiotics in it, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a prescription.
Well,
Never mind. I got it. We got it. That's a
it's
shame.
like a friend of mine was trying to find a particular med, and he went to his vet because I told him to go to his vet. Totally logical course of action, not a protected substance, except for the fact that some individuals were using the same drug for COVID. And so now you can't even buy this med,
No.
even when
Wait,
you
what was the med they were using for COVID?
chloroquine phosphate.
Oh, okay. Right. Gotcha. Yep.
And so the vet refused to write a script for him because of the implications associated with it during the COVID outbreak. And I find that very unfortunate, but I understand why the vet did it, and it made sense to me.
Yeah, but do you think that they're like? I just feel like if someone wants to try something on themselves, then that's their choice. And so I'm just curious if it's like the pharmaceutical companies trying to beat back anything that might work.
The problem is if somebody dies and then their family sues, and
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
looking at years of legal arguments.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
if you're a small business, if you've got a
Can put
fish
you under.
store or a small vet practice or anything else, it's not worth it to you to even take that chance.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
too destructive.
Yeah, I get it. That's just a shame. Because and don't throw darts at me, guys. I'm just asking the question. But didn't that help some people with COVID? Or no? I really don't know. I'm asking.
Depends on how you're orientated in your upper brain there. If you're into holistics, then you're more tending to believe in it. If you're into the far right, you're more tended to believe it. If you're into believing in the science, and that's major science, not small studies that are designed to show what they want to show, then you won't believe in it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The thing is, I have a friend that has a PhD and works for a major university and is very highly respected. Now, this is a person I will listen to, but most of the other stuff, I'm not. I'm like,
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I didn't mean to get us on that because everybody has different
yeah.
opinions and we aren't about the politics, y'all. We love everybody.
Mhm.
Seahorses only. No, but yeah. Anyways, that's just a darn shame. And Dan did start to answer us last week about what we could do about losing Furon too, but we'll learn more in the medications episode. He wanted to do a bunch of research and really put together, his true opinion. But
Mhm.
I don't know.
Well, I've been threatening for quite some time, and I really need to do it. Is put together a encapsulated version of everything that's on .org in terms of how to treat, what to treat, when to treat, and all that. And I've been talking about it for a while. I've just been so darn busy with everything else.
Yep.
But that's something that I really need to do. Because the thing is, even if we don't necessarily prescribe those for the same situations, the dosages and some of this stuff will still be correct.
Well, a lot of that is in the file section, but we do need a central place where it's all together. I've got the website waiting, Cheryl. I just need the
Yeah.
info.
And
So,
so that's something I want to do.
One thing I really liked about this article, about the bacterial hole, when they're talking about the different medications, they're saying what the active ingredients are in those medications. So
ooh,
you can look for those same things, the equivalent, like for instance, the bio bandage, it's mentioning what's in it, the ingredients. Well, look for those things,
you mean
in
do you mean
other.
in another medication? Is that
Yeah,
what you
that's
mean?
what I'm saying. It's like, for instance, it tells you in Furan 2 what Furan 2 is made up of. If you find another thing that has the same ingredients as Furan 2,
Yeah,
then
but that's
that
the
will
problem.
They're gonna wipe
right.
them
No,
all up.
no. Not only are they going to take them all up, but that's why. Like Dan has, I
Mhm.
don't mean to keep bringing him up, but he works at the pet feed store and he has said people come in for brain cancer treatments that they can't get because of whatever. And they compared the ingredients and they're trying to go
Mhm.
do it themselves. And then you don't know the dosages, right? You don't know for sure what's what.
Mhm.
And then you end up killing somebody. And that's the problem. So, I mean, I agree with what you're
I mean,
saying. I
it
get
gives
it.
you somewhere to go. Like they'll say the active ingredient in C-Chem Canaplex is kanamycin sulfate, a potent aminoglycoside antibiotic that's broad
Does it tell you
spectrum.
how much is in it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
You
so
find it in something else, it doesn't mean it's going to be there in the same amount.
Exactly.
that's true, but it gives you a lead on where to research farther.
Yeah.
But it's not
Just,
going to
You
matter
know.
anyway because you won't be able to get anything.
and all I'm saying for the channel
That's the
is
way
we're
it
not
is here in
recommending
Canada.
any of that.
You can't get
Mhm.
anything here in Canada without a vet.
Yeah. Well, it's like chloroquine phosphate is used to treat uronema, which is malaria. It's also used by people that have certain disabilities to help stop seizures. Yet it's also a drug that can be used in fish, but we can't uh, get it because of all the people that wanted to use it to combat COVID.
Right.
And it's put it on the endangered list now because of that.
Well, I
So
think they're going to
it's,
take it all away, make us pay big bucks for it, and go through hoops, and
hey,
for sure.
I don't do drugs. I just
Well, I was going to say, Cheryl, they prescribe my state is terrible about drug use, right? The people, not the seahorses. And they make pain pills and stuff like that for people who actually need them. When my mom was in hospice and
yeah
passing of cancer, she needed those medications. There are
yes
people that really need them and take them right,
mhm.
but people abuse them. And all I was trying to say, Holly, because I don't disagree with you, I do. We all do it. if you can't find something, you're going to look at the ingredients and try to find something as a substitute
Well, I
that
was
will
talking
work.
about for the seahorses,
Right.
not people. I said
I
as
know,
they
I know,
pull,
I know.
you can look for it.
Not me.
No, yeah. To make that clear, I totally understand. I'm just saying that's why they crack down on us, and
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
Beer
you know,
is beer, wine is wine. Sorry, but yeah, the
It's like
problem.
when I say there's no Furan 2, what do I try? And everybody tells me Sulfaplex and
Yes.
Canaplex. That's what I'm looking for.
I
Is
know.
what's a similar antibiotic? What's something else I can use when I can't find this other thing?
Well,
That no, what she's saying, just to clarify, I agree 100%, Holly. You're saying find a substitute that's available, not try to go do it yourself.
Yes.
That's all I was trying to say. Don't do it
That's what
yourself.
I'm
Please don't do it yourself.
the problem is
Especially
people,
with formalin. I had an accident with formalin when I went and got the extra super strength formalin. I messed up, so just be careful. Anyways, go ahead, Cheryl.
Just to give you
Well,
a warning and an idea of how fast things can move. We were about 2 years roughly from when they first started talking about restricting it, and some supplies started going down till when we couldn't get anything anymore.
yeah.
Mhm.
We
You
have
think we're going that way?
no recourse to any medication now when it's antibiotics other than through a vet. And
Now,
a lot
yeah,
of the vets aren't interested in talking to you because they don't know anything about seahorses. And the ones that do, it's going to cost you about $80 minimum just to go for the appointment, let alone what you're going to have to pay him for the prescription.
Well, Ray,
And we
Ray,
have
that
none
wait,
here.
hang on. That was my big question for you, Ray, though, because you're under managed health, right? Like you have, or wait, am I thinking of somewhere else? Do you guys? And I think I'm thinking of Britain, or England. Do you guys have free healthcare?
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
so
it's not everything is free, but it's basically like when my wife had 4 years going through the cancer. About the only thing we ever had to put out for was some bone density medication. It was about $1,500 that the company that put it out forgave a portion of it, but the
nice.
rest of it, there was probably many hundreds of thousands of dollars that it would cost
Sure.
me in the States if I didn't have insurance in the States to pay for. But here, it's just you just don't pay for it.
So that was my only question. Could you get it if you paid for it, or it's just not available?
No, it's not available to.
Okay.
It's only available your antibiotic
Prescription.
through prescription, and you have to pay for the prescription because the prescription won't be for you; it'll be for the animal.
But you could still get it. You would just have to pay for it.
Yeah,
Okay.
but when
That's
you're
all
going
I
to
wondered.
pay $80 plus the cost of the prescription,
Right. Right. You could get a
now
new
our
seahorse for that
prescriptions
price.
are a lot
Not that
cheaper
I'm
here
suggesting that.
but our prescriptions are a lot cheaper here than they are in the U.S.
Right.
Yeah.
I know.
I know
Cheers to
people
that
that buy
too.
from Canada. But
We don't
I
have
don't have
a perfect
any
system
vet
for
within
healthcare.
forever.
Wait,
to
hang on, you guys.
these seahorses.
Wait. You guys are both talking at the same time. And just to let you guys know, we're at the 10-minute warning. I got to shorten these Wine Wednesdays. Ray first, and then Holly, I promise we're going to listen to you. Go,
hey,
Ray.
I'm gonna go
We
first.
don't have,
Hang on, Cheryl.
we don't have the perfect healthcare system, but it looks perfect when you compare it to what you have in the U.S.
Well, thanks,
Mhm.
Ray. And all I've got to say is Cheryl should
I'll
always go
agree with
first.
a friend that
But
was
the
a
bottom
nurse in
line
Canada.
is we can't talk
Here,
over each
everybody's
other, you
covered, whether
guys.
you're rich or whether you don't have a cent. You're still covered.
Mhm.
Yeah, a lot of it
Yeah.
in the U.S. depends on what company you retire from.
Mm.
Because in my case, I'm retired. I have Medicare. I have prescription drug coverage, etc. But the company that I retired from pays for my Plan F, so I have no out-of-pocket expenses,
Yeah,
and that is huge when
I
you
know.
retire.
I know. Holly, what were you going to say? And cheers to all of you. Obviously, we just all love to chat on Wine Wednesday.
Well, I
Go
was
ahead.
just going to say there's no one anywhere near me, like in half the state, that would treat fish. Period.
I know.
Yeah,
There are
No.
no vets for fish. Even at the university in Sacramento, UC Davis, I called them and they said the only fish that they ever deal with is koi. And they weren't even dealing with koi because of COVID.
No.
And this was
Well,
when
Hold
COVID
on.
first started when I called and they had closed down. And this is like with the big main university. So there are no options. I mean, I had a vet for my dogs and they helped me with syringes and things like that for the seahorses, but they cannot prescribe me anything because they would have to see the seahorses and they are not that type of vet. So it wouldn't fly legally.
no, I told you when I had
So yeah, it's impossible.
well, but no, let me tell a quick story and then give you the good ending. This is not, we're going to end on a good ending. The thing is, when I first had a seahorse problem and I couldn't figure it out, and Dan told me what I needed, but I couldn't get the stuff because I couldn't find a vet. I think it was Diamox, in fact. Thank you again, my friend who sent me Diamox, but I couldn't get the Diamox and I had to find an exotic vet. And so I found one that was about an hour away from me. I was ready to drive. And then when I called them to make an appointment, they said, okay, but we have to actually see the seahorse. And I said, okay. So I'm thinking battery operated, whatever. I'll take him to see him because I'm obsessed with my seahorses and I would have done it. And they were like, no. You'll have to, because we don't know what disease you're talking about. We have no idea what you're talking about. Basically, that's not what they said, but you get my drift. And then they were like, you have to leave the seahorse overnight for observation. And I first said, you're not cutting on my damn seahorse, right? But then I was like, so you have a tank set up? No. Wait, so you want me to bring my seahorse and a tank and water? You don't know how to care for the water. You don't know how to care for the seahorse, and you're going to somehow tell me what I need when I'm telling you what I need? It's
They're going to
insane.
kill it.
It's insane, and I agree. But what I was going to say is, the cool thing is, because we have this Seahorse Sources group and Wine Wednesday and just Heather and all of you guys and just good people sharing information with each other and helping each other. When you have someone who does have a medication, they'll help you. You know what I mean? I was able to get Diamox. So, I mean, Ray has Bandage. We can't get Ray's because he's in Canada, but and then we come up with something new like DeBride. I mean, it's not endless.
To figure this out, but I'm pretty sure from what I found online, I believe you can buy Diamox over the counter in Mexico.
Okay,
so
well,
people who have access, they're closer to the border or know somebody who is, I think you can. From what I'm reading, if somebody who knows can chime in and say whether or not, because I do have relatives near the border.
Hey,
chime in on Messenger though, because if anything's illegal, this channel does not support it. None of us do. Okay.
I live in Texas, and I ain't going across the border to get anything. With all this crap that's down there right now, no way. Even the red wolves can't get fine mates because of the border wall.
I think,
Wait, what?
here in California, it's not as bad. It's pretty frequent. Well, because we're touristy. You can go right across the border and get stuff. I go from San Diego to Tijuana with my husband. I've been. It's no big deal.
Heather
And
said
then
her dog. Wait.
Heather up for tourists.
You
Heather
do
said
realize.
wait, guys. Heather said her dog vet offered to do a video chat with the seahorse and prescribe what it needed. Was he supposed to talk?
Heather, you do realize that your U.S. auto insurance only covers you to within 15 miles of 15 miles of Mexico. After that, if you have an accident or anything else, you have no coverage.
That's why you never take your car. You take the train.
I was gonna say my son's a trucker,
Shake
and
hands.
these border issues are serious because it's not just it's people, it's drugs, everything trying to get across the border. But Ray, what were
Well,
you
we
gonna say?
are fortunate in some respect. Um, if they'd withdrawn the antibiotics 5, 10 years ago, the hobby would seriously be in trouble. In that time, though, we have learned that if you maintain the tank extremely well, even though you can't measure that dissolved organics, if you work at keeping it that water clean, then you're going to have very little in the way of those infections. You also have, we've learned since then, that many times if you get that affected seahorse into a hospital tank right away with clean water and maintain it that way, a lot of times you can reverse it and heal it with that and without the antibiotics.
I
True
tell you
story.
what,
Amen. We're just to let you
and
know, Ray. I mean, I know you can see us, but we're all clapping because absolutely, you won't need the medications if you keep the tank in order. Come back, ask us questions. Hello, Francis. We'd love an update. We're going to end soon because I'm trying to make these Wine Wednesdays shorter. We'll always be here next week, though. And again, we're doing the intermediate part 2 of Ask Seahorse Source
hey,
on
wait a
the
minute.
first wait hang on the first Wednesday of February, so make sure to come for that. And I was going to say, Holly, I'm not going to read it, just read Fashion Girl's
I
comment.
know.
Go ahead,
I
Cheryl.
did.
Yeah. What I was going to ask is, can I talk to Francis for a second over this, or?
Yes, of course.
Okay, because Francis went and he's doing a great job with the seahorse. And I really owe you for sending me some of the information that you sent me on what you were doing. And it sounds like, I mean, your seahorse looked 500% better today compared to what it was yesterday. And I'm just so happy for you.
Bravo, Francis. Cheryl, since Francis can't talk, he can only comment. Why don't you tell us what the update is? Do you know? Or
Well, this was a very, very young hippocampus combs. Francis bought two of them. They were, according to the sales, ORA raised. And one of them just kept staying darker and darker, going unresponsive. This has been going on for weeks. Turning black, hanging not upside down, but downward. And he switched the antibiotics. And today, the seahorse was upright, moving around, circling around the hitch, and actually ate a little bit. So I'm just, as he says, he's still alive and kicking. It's been a long journey. I mean, this has been going on for quite some time. And I feel for Francis because the size of those combs and the species are, I would say, are strictly top level experts if you're going to have a chance of keeping him alive. And he's done a fantastic job of working with him.
bravo. Yes, and he's fighting for him. And I would say Fashion Girl, or I'm sorry, I think it was Seahorse Corner asked if it was the male. I'm wondering why that question was asked, if there's something to it. Like, just wondering if there's something to it as to the male being the one. And also want to know, Heather, you got to come in here and show us your comb someday. I'm waiting for one of you lovely combs owners to get a brood stock going, and I want some, dang it, but I don't want to be the pro that has to try to raise them. I just want to buy them.
The problem with combs is they typically, if they're bringing them in wild caught or anything else, they're going to be coming in with uronema. Tube feeding was difficult, but I was thankful for Helen Wood Ward Animal Companion Hospital, Ray, Dan, and Cheryl for helping me step off Oh, Francis, thank
Yes, he's
you.
helping. He's thanking Ray, Cheryl, and Dan for helping him get through this. And we appreciate you coming to Wine Wednesday. Because we can share the stories because this is awesome.
I am
And
curious. Isn't
he,
Francis in California?
I'm
I
sorry?
believe,
Francis is in California, isn't
Yes,
he?
yes.
Where is Animal Companion Hospital?
It's in
I'm
San
interested to
Diego.
know.
But the thing
Okay.
is, I didn't realize it until he posted that. The National Fish Pharmacy is selling to stores. So you would need to check around and see what stores they're selling to.
Ray had to go, guys. But someone said also that Cheryl sexed the seahorses months ago, but with no
Yeah,
pouch. How,
that
Cheryl?
was Heather who was saying that. Yeah.
How
I
did you
mean,
sex seahorses without a pouch?
I'm sorry?
How were you
You
able to
can
sex
tell
sea?
from experience. She did that on mine
I've done that.
today.
I've been through this so many times. I mean, the thing is, show me a Combs. Can give you an idea of what they're going to have. Show me an erectus. I already can tell you what they're going to have in the way of potential bacterial problems. Uh, it's just one of those things. I've been at this so long. Okay, yes, Rancho Panasquetos and Rancho Santa Fe in San Diego.
Mosquitoes.
I've been at this so long. It's one of those things. I know what the different species, what their potential problems are. I know what they're carrying, and I also know how to look at them and get an idea because I've seen it so many times before. I mean, I've got roughly 17 years going on these.
Well, I was
And
getting ready to type it, but I would just say we appreciate all the people that come and share their stories and questions. And we appreciate Cheryl, Ray, Holly, Dan, and everyone who comes, Heather, everyone who comes and shares their experiences and helps other people. Go ahead, Cheryl. Sorry.
no, you're fine. I was just saying it comes with a lot of years of beating your head against the wall and losing. And then you finally reach the point where you finally go, oh, now I know how to take care of this. Or like with the combs, uh, the way we found out that they were carrying neuroedema was on histopath by a human pathologist that was volunteering his time to work with us and doing the work. And that's when he found the inclusion bodies in the tissues consistent with uronema. But without the help of other people stepping up,
Yep.
we would never have known it.
And or people asking questions. A lot of people are
Exactly.
afraid to come and ask a question. I'm like, give me the info. Tell me more. Because yeah, I mean it's
That's great.
so helpful.
And I want to thank Francis for sharing that where that animal hospital is because I am like 12 hours away from San Diego, but it gives me a place I can maybe call
Yep.
and see, if they actually do video calls or
Maybe you
over
could
the
do a
phone or
FaceTime with your
whatever, you can
seahorse.
help me.
Holly,
FaceTime the seahorse.
I
Yes.
can do an appointment.
he's the one who got the nitrofuransin green that is supposed to be very similar to nitrofurazone too. And he was able to get it from them locally. And you might
Nice.
be able to get them to get it from them, or they may know somebody that can get that for you.
Yeah.
Yes, and I have relatives, I have nieces that live down there.
There you
And
go.
There it
so
is. Wait, Dr.
so
Cecil.
like I said, that's why I'm saying in California, the border is not a big deal between
Yeah.
us and Mexico. It was common to go back and forth, and the towns are generally safe and touristy, and they have drugstores just set up for us.
Well, yeah,
So
and that's not
Francis
illegal,
is
is
doing
it?
right now is posting
no,
Yeah. So
no.
yeah,
aquatic,
absolutely.
Western Aquatic Animal Vet Services, another experienced vet with fish and seahorses species in San Diego. These are some people that you probably would want to contact if you have a problem with seahorses in that area.
Mhm.
It's very important.
Absolutely. And that will be in the chat, and I'll put it in the comments too. But go ahead.
One of the things I love about working with
Thank
Francis
you.
is he can ask a question, I can give him an answer, and he comes back with a ton more information. And then I'm asking questions, and he's giving me answers. And it's,
It's a relationship.
yeah, well, he's very knowledgeable. He's very meticulous, and he knows where he wants to be. And he's doing a great job.
Yes. And I appreciate him coming and asking questions. I just want to say that again. Anyone who's afraid to ask a question, there is no bad question. And Francis is saving his seahorses. And please keep us updated because you're doing an amazing job. Great job. Thank you again, Cheryl, Ray, and Dan, for helping. And yeah, that's why we bring the experts in here for sure one Wednesday. But anyways, guys, if there is any further questions, please ask now because I said 10-minute warning half an hour ago.
Yeah.
I've got to make these shorter because people watch them afterwards and I have to timestamp them and it's crazy.
I
But
need to go feed seahorses.
yes, right? I need to check on mine. Maybe they've made some babies for me. Let's hope.
They better
Mine are
not.
I think mine
What'd
are
you say?
working on it right now.
There you go. And that's one request we did have. One request we did have, guys, is to try to like show the seahorses more. I mean, it's an amazing chat that we have every week, but I'm going to work on trying to be able to show you guys the seahorses more because that's what people want to see. We can talk about the tanks and stuff. But anyways,
You ought to see a
I
couple
need
of
to
my
set
golden
up. I can
girls.
have my tank behind me. It's just kind of it's like across from me.
and then you look blue and
It's a
flashy. I
narrow
know.
space. It's hard, but I could probably figure it out. Maybe next week.
Well,
I'll do it.
and what I did notice too, because we want people to be able to come into the video if they want, I can't join from my phone. I tried earlier to show you guys the thing. Have you guys noticed that?
I haven't
some
tried
reason-
on my phone on this on Restream.
For some
I want to say
reason,
maybe one time I did, and yeah, it didn't work.
it told me Safari doesn't work. The browser doesn't
Told
work.
me, yeah, it doesn't work with iPhone, I think is what it is with our thing.
Well, we always pay attention to what you guys say in the comments. Heather's going to clean the sea shed. We want you guys to join again soon, sometime. And the wine's almost gone. So I'm going to have to call it for tonight. But Francis, we're with you. Thank you for listening to the pros and doing your best. And please give us updates. And we will be back next week to talk some more. You guys say cheese. We got to end it. On a good note.
Cheers.
Good night.
Cheryl doesn't have a cheers, but look at her beautiful seahorses. Cheers,
Yeah.
everyone.